For the second part of this assignment, I'll be showing you an easier way to vectorize. So go to File, Open up your image. You're going to want to go to Object, Image Trace, and you'll notice it's grayed out. It's a common mistake, so I wanted to point this out. You need to select the photograph, the image. So you do this by holding this little circle. You'll see the bounding box, the blue bounding box come up. Then you go back to Image, Image Trace, Make and Expand. Make sure you put the and expand. Give it a second. There we go. So now you'll notice that it turned blue. And if you go down here, you'll see all the different groupings. Let's go to our Direct Selection tool. You'll notice you now have paths for all of your lines. So once you're at this point, you can manipulate any paths that didn't translate correctly. This one's pretty clean, but if yours has any that you need to fix, then you can select anchor points and pull them in a little bit more and just pretty much manipulate the handles however you want to make it work, to make it a little bit cleaner. Remember, you can delete anchor points, you can add anchor points, whatever to make it the way you want. So let's zoom out again. Now what we're going to do is try to add some color. So I'm going to go back to my Direct Selection tool, and I want to make this area red. So I'm going to click on it. Then I'm going to go over here. Remember that this is fill and this is stroke. I'm going to double click on the fill, and I'm going to try to change it red. Now notice right now it goes gray. The reason that happens is because when you go to your color swatches, it's on grayscale. So you'll need to change that to RGB or CMYK, either one. Now that I've changed it to RGB, the color appears. There's a couple other options. If you want to make it look a little bit more realistic, I would suggest a gradient. You can click the gradient. Now you'll notice this as well is grayscaled. So double click here and you can select a color. So here's your grayscale. Click over here. Now you can go to this option and again choose RGB. Then you'll notice you have all your color options. So let's select a little bit of a lighter red. That looks good. Okay. And you'll have to do that every time. Select a bit more of a pink. Great. So let's apply that. Now you'll notice with gradients, I have it a deeper red going into a lighter red. You can also move these to change how much of each color is appearing. You can also change opacity to make it less visible, anything like that. If you want to change the angle of the gradient, you can do that here, so then it changes what direction. If you click Edit Gradient, you'll see the line, so you can have more visibility on how it's changing, what direction it's going, and you can manipulate it that way to be more of how you would like it. Once you're done with that, you can click away. You can do the same thing with each part. So let's make this green. Again, the grayscale. So you're going to have to come over here, change it to RGB to make sure that it turns green. So remember that for each step of the way. Now, those are the very basics. This is how you clean it up. You can add colors, gradients, things like that to make it look more realistic. Once you're done, you're going to save it 2 times. File, save as an Illustrator file, and to be honest, you should save as an Illustrator file as often as possible. You don't want to wait until the very end to save this in case Adobe crashes or the computer fails, anything like that. You want to have a saved file so you don't have 30 minutes of work that hasn't been saved. So this should probably be one of your first steps, is to save this. I already have this, so I'm going to change the name a little bit. Great. Now we're going to export as, and I'm going to export as a JPEG. This is because an Illustrator file will not be able to post on your blog or website, so you need to save it as a JPEG. I make sure the quality is up to maximum and that this is high. It will default to 72 ppi. That will be a really pixelated image, so make sure it's high. Now click OK, and you are done. So you can see what we started with and what we finished with. Thank you so much. Let me know if you have any questions.